Does anyone here have shoulder issues with range of motion issues? Okay, I do. I do specific exercises every day that were prescribed by a physiologist. But one of the things that a physical therapist will recommend is to go to the maximum range of your motion every day. And one of those is you come up to a wall, you bring your arms out wide, and your nose is almost on the wall. And you want to keep your nose right at the same place. And you start just by reaching out and then reaching up. And again, if you're right behind me, you see I'm not moving my nose. Bring that arm as far over as you can, but at first you don't strain. Then you bring it down. And I can feel this on my neck here, then all the way back over. And what the physiologists have told me, do this 3 times. And I do 3 times just to warm up. And then I really stretch up as high as I possibly can, reach over. So I'm really straining. And my chin is right on my shoulder. And what that does, it allows that shoulder or that hand to come way over. You're opening up your whole rotator. And then you do the other side. And then because you're engaging different muscles when you go the opposite way, you think about it, well, they're the same muscles. Well, they're not. So then you just reverse it. It's really hard with a chair rail. And with the amount of art that we have on our walls, I have one place in the house that I can do this. Fortunately, it's in my office/studio. But anyway, that will open up your shoulders. It will get them lubricated. And I do a few others, but it's specific because of a scapula that doesn't want to sit right on my rib cage. So I use a band and I walk the band up the wall. I do this 10 times, twice a day. And then, what's the other? Oh, another band stuck in the door. And yeah, starting with the arm out. The towel here, so I'm not reaching right at the elbow and just come over. And that strengthens. So anyway, that's what I do every day. And when I recalcitrant, which I've been from every once in a while, like when I was on that 3-week journey out west in November, I didn't do it at all. And so I started having pain in the middle of the night, like I used to. Idiot, right? So anyway, I try to continue doing that all the time. Okay, so it looks like it's time. Close the door. Okay. You're going to pay me for the room now. It's a little loud.
That's your vaccine.
Haven't reached it yet. But I'm not sure what Sandy is going to do next week. And remember, next week, Sandy McDonald is going to be here for the next 6 months. I'm sure she landed yesterday. Otherwise, I would have gotten a call. And she teaches a really nice hatha / vinyasa. It's not nearly as challenging as this class. So you can always intensify and get yourself to sweat a little bit, but it's going to be much gentler. So anyway, my name is Clint and this is Ashtanga Yoga. So if you want to stand up, one more thing about the Ashtanga. If you would like to urge me to continue teaching this, I am really on the fence whether or not I'm going to continue to broadcast, to Zoom it. I'm not going to get another class in another rec center, so I won't be teaching it live. But if you email me and just say what, if you want me to continue the Ashtanga, there are several people that have already told me adamantly. And I gotta say, I am really on the fence. I don't know whether or not I am or not. But I will definitely take that into account. Give me advice on what day you'd like it. It will not be on Monday because I'm not going to compete with Sandy. It will not be on Wednesday because that's the day I hike. I'm thinking Saturday or Sunday is probably going to be the best, but Thursday could work and it will be at 8 o'clock. Great, let's turn off our telephones. Okay.
You're on. I can tell, right? You're on.
So anyway, okay, well, come to the top of your mat. Get your feet hip width apart. Lift your chest high. Isometrically, we'll do this a little different. Lift your kneecaps by engaging your quads. That will stiffen up your legs a little bit. Take your upper inner thighs, rotate them towards the middle, and then tuck your tailbone under. That will tilt your pelvis back. They'll put a little bit of an arch in your lower lumbar spine, the way it's supposed to be. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears, rotate them towards the back, and then just let them float down towards your hips. Take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin in a little bit. Crown of your head is the part way in the back, just above your spine. And breathe in and out through your nose. You can gaze off at that horizon, either directly or through your eyelids. And notice where your breath goes. And then begin to engage your Mula Bandha. Your Mula Bandhas are those pelvic floor muscles, those muscles that you use to prevent from avoiding yourself. That will begin to build some heat in your body. You all know by now you need heat in Ashtanga. And then add to that your Uddiyana Bandhas, those muscles halfway between your navel and your pubic bone, your lower abdomen. And continue breathing in and out through your nose. Notice when you engage your Uddiyana Bandhas that your abdominals, your rectus abdominis, and your obliques on your front side of your body all are engaged. that forces your breath into your chest, but it also does something to your lower back. It allows those muscles to soften so that when eventually you come into a forward fold, you want to engage your core on the front and soften the back. You do that by engaging those bandhas. And then begin to engage your Jalalahara bandhas. The back of your throat, begin to close off your glottis so that your breath creates sound. And this gives you an audible sense of your concentration. And if your breath ever becomes really heightened so that you have to breathe through your mouth, that's your breath telling you that you're doing too much and to pause. Next, inhale, open your eyes. And then bring your arms out to the side, up overhead, gaze up at your palms coming together. And then float your hands all the way back down by your side. Inhale your arms out and up again. Gaze up, get a little bit of an arch in your back. And then exhale, arms out and down by your side. Inhale, arms up overhead. And this time, swan dive all the way over. Bring your hands towards the floor. Your knees can be bent a little or a lot. And take the next 5 breaths as you begin to stretch your hamstrings. Each inhale, try to lift your hips a little bit higher. Each exhale, forward fold a little bit more. Engage your bandhas. That will soften your back. Maybe you can come forward a little bit more. On your 5th inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. You can grab onto your ankles and pull your chest towards your thighs. And then inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead, palms together, and then lower them to Samastitihi, and then to Dasana. Inhale, your arms up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Another 5 breaths. Use your breath here to help you move. As you inhale, you can come up, and then exhale as you get all that breath out of your lungs. You can compress a little bit more. Your 5th inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead, palms together, and hands to Samastitihi, and then to Dasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Pause here for just a moment. Grab onto that left wrist with your right hand. Bring all your weight into your left foot. And begin to side bend to the right. Maybe your right leg is bent and your foot is barely touching. Push that left hip out. And straighten out that left left arm by pushing away with your right hand. And 5, exhale up. Grab the other side, inhale, weight into your right foot, and then off to your left. And 5, inhale all the way up. Bring your arms, hands down to Samastitihi, and then to Tadasana. We're going to do a twist. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward and pause here. And then inhale, take your left arm out to the side and up for 5 breaths. This is a good time to practice getting your shoulder blades vertical. You're preparing your body for the work it's about to do. And 5, exhale, hand down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi, and then to Tadasana. Okay, when we get into the Namaskar A and B, just want to tell you something that happened to me. Actually, it was yesterday. I did a bit of a race walk before I started doing the Namaskar warm-ups. And for the first time that I can remember, my heart rate was so high. I checked it. Speaking of which, I gotta start my little computer here. But it was so high that I noticed it, how much it was beating, and I looked, and it was 148, which is about 92% of what it should be. So I wasn't smart enough to listen to my breath, but I backed up and I paused until my heart rate went back down. So for all of you, if you don't know what your maximum heart rate theoretically is, it really depends on how good your conditioning is. It's 220 minus your age. That will give you 100%. So for me, I'm 71. And so that number for me is 151. I'm sorry. Yeah, 149. So I was almost at 100% of my maximum heart rate. So that's too much. You should try not to get above 90%. But anyway, so let's get to the fun. Get back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, step back to plank and pause here for about 10 breaths. Draw your upper arms towards each other. Try to rotate the eyes of your elbows towards the front, isometrically, as you rotate your fingers towards each other, isometrically. That will tighten up your muscles in your arms and your shoulders. If you come down to your knees, that's fine. If you go down into child's pose, that's fine. Listen to your breath. And then on your next exhale, come forward and down, all the way to your belly. Put your toenails on the mat. Hands next to your chest. Inhale up to cobra. And then exhale, curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And walk out your dog. Breathe deeply in and out through your nose. And at the bottom of your fifth breath, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, palms to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Okay, now we're going to do 3 Namaskar A's without pause. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, palms to mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and rest here for 5 breaths. Slow down your breathing. And at the bottom of your 5th breath, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. And again, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Try dropping your chest between your shoulders. And on your 5th exhale, right at the bottom, hop, step, or float to forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Palms to heart center, Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Roll over your toes to up dog. Inhale, hips up and back into down dog. And on your 5th exhale, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Now we have Namaskara B. In Namaskar B, we start with the chair pose, Utkatasana. And then immediately when you are back in down dog, turn your left foot out so that you can step your right foot forward into warrior 1. Same on the other side. So from here, on your next exhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up towards the ceiling, Utkatasana for 5 breaths. Tuck your tailbone under. That lengthens your spine here. It allows you to raise your arms a little bit higher. And on your fifth exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And down halfway. Roll forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot turns out. Right foot steps forward. Inhale, up to warrior one. Exhale, hands right back down. Step that right foot back. Plank, and down. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here for 5 breaths. Well, you can come into child if you wish. Taking rest is a mark of a smart yogi. And at the base of your 5th exhale, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to Utkatasana. Then continue to rise all the way up. Palms together. To Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. I just love to remind every one of you, you were 20 or 30, you'd have 4 more of these right now. So anyway, this time we're going to pause at the first, at the warrior ones. So on your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up to Utkatasana. Tuck your tailbone under, reach those fingernails higher. And on your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale. Hips up and back, down dog. Left foot out, right foot comes forward. And inhale, arms up to warrior one. And pause here for 5 breaths. This is a good time to check your pose. Is your left pinky toe down? Is your right knee bent? Should have a little bit of arch in your back, but your hips should be square to the front of the mat. And on your 5th exhale, let your arms drift out to the side and down behind you. Interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your knuckles down, lifting your chest high. And then exhale, forward fold into humble warrior. Bringing your chest and your shoulder to the left of your right knee. And lift your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Gaze towards your back foot. And 5. Release your bind, let your hands drift towards the floor, and then rotate all the way around to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left comes forward. Inhale, warrior one. 5 breaths. Breathing in and out through your nose increases the pressure, air pressure in your lungs to about 120% of normal atmosphere, giving you more oxygen to engage or to take with every breath. Now your 5th exhale, arms out to the side and down. This time, interlace your fingers the opposite way. And then push your knuckles down, lifting up your chest. And exhale, forward fold. Humble warrior. Lift your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Face off towards that right foot. And 5, release your bind, let your arms float down. And then rotate up into warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And pause here and rest for 5 breaths. Slow down your breathing here. And on your 5th exhale, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then to Tadasana. Okay, now we get into the standing poses. So, you're in Tadasana. Look down at your feet, and on an inhale, just hop your feet apart, about width, hip width. Okay, this is Padangusthasana, fingers to toes, and Padahastasana with your whole hand. So from here, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale, come up halfway. Gaze at the horizon, and then exhale, forward fold. Using the strength of your arms, draw your collarbones down as you push your hips higher. And 5, release. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out overhead, and hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Now you have Padahastasana, putting your palms underneath your feet. So from here, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. One palm at a time underneath your sole. Maybe your toes can come all the way up to your wrist crease. Inhale, rise up. You probably won't be able to gaze at that horizon this time. And exhale, forward fold. And again, lift your hips high. Use your arms to draw your collarbones down. This is a great counter pose, giving relief to your arms, your shoulders, your forearms, and hands from all those vinyasas. And at the end of your 5th breath, release your bind. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Now, pop your feet back, hip width apart, and you're in the perfect position for an optional vinyasa. This vinyasa is to keep your body warm, so they are optional. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. And relax. Maybe push your heels down, stretching your hamstrings one at a time. or 2 at a time. And at the bottom of your 5th breath, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Palms to heart center. Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Now we go to triangle and revolve triangle. So from here, on your next inhale, take a giant step to the back of your mat with your right foot. Legs are straight, bring your arms up into T. Your hips should be squared to the side of the mat. And then from here, drop that right hip, raise the left hip. And begin to tip your triangle, bringing your right hand down in front of your right leg anywhere. The most important thing is to get your shoulders vertical. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet to the front of the mat. Now drop your left hip, lift your right hip up, and on an exhale, lower down into triangle on this side. And again, you want your shoulder blades vertical. Lean back, fall back. Your shoulder blades vertical is more important than touching your foot. And 5, inhale all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. Step that left foot in a little bit. You can even bring the left foot facing the back. And then rotate your chest, arms still in T towards the back of the mat. And then rotate to the right. From here, begin to fold forward. Bring your left arm down on the outside of that right leg. Your right hand can go up, or it can stay on your hip, or it can come behind your back. Again, your shoulder blades want to be vertical. And 5, inhale, pinwheel all the way back up into T. Rotate your feet. You'll have to adjust your feet. Turn towards the front of the mat, and then off to the left. And then on an exhale, lower that right arm down on the outside of the left foot. Maybe this side is so different that the left arm can go up. Engage your core, engage your jaw, heart abundance, so you can hear your breath. And at the fifth exhale, rise all the way back up to T. Look forward, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. And you're in perfect position for another optional vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, palms to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, rise up to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Three. 4. And at the bottom of your 5th breath, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Now we have side angle. So again, you'll lead on your next inhale with your right foot towards the back of the mat. And come into warrior 2. From here, Bend that right elbow and begin to bend it down so that your right forearm is on the middle of your thigh. Then bring that left arm overhead and continue stretching towards the intersection of the ceiling and the wall. So you have one straight line from your left toes to your left fingers. And again, your shoulder blades are vertical. Maybe you can use that right forearm to help get that left shoulder back. And 5, inhale, all the way up into T. Rotate your feet. Bend that left knee coming into warrior 2. Bend the left elbow, and then exhale into side angle on this side. Make sure you don't put too much weight on that left forearm. You can do that just by lifting that wrist up, seeing how much you're really using it. On your 5th exhale, release, inhale up into T, rotate towards the front of the mat, and then step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to mat. Step and jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale forward to up dog. Exhale, hips up and back into downward facing dog. 4. And at the bottom of 5th breath, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Okay, now we're going into Prasarita A, B, C, and D. So on your next inhale, giant step back with your right leg, but both feet come pointed towards the right side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale your chest high. On an exhale, begin to fold forward. And at any time, you can drop your hands down to the mat. Certainly don't want to face plant. Your finger should be pointed towards the same direction as your feet. And 5, listen carefully. Bring your hands to your hips. On your inhale, use your legs and your arms to help draw your shoulders all the way back up. Walk your hands towards the back of your hips. Draw your elbows toward each other. Inhale, your chest high. And then exhale, forward fold. And continue to draw your elbows toward each other. You might not go as far this time, that's okay. Your collarbones are coming down, crown of your head is down. This is a groin stretch and a hamstring stretch. And it's also opening up your hips. You may be able to feel this in one or both hip sockets. And 5, on your next inhale, use your elbows to help draw your chest high. Bring your arms out into T. Thumbs down. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, whatever way you'd like. Push your knuckles down and then away from your chest. Inhale, chest high. Exhale, forward fold. Again, collarbones come down. Crown of your head comes down. And your knuckles go up. The only resting pose in Ashtanga is down dog. So this is a working pose.
So really push those knuckles up. And on your fifth exhale, use your hands to draw your chest all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T. Lift your chest high on an inhale. And exhale, forward fold. And as you come forward, your hands can come down onto your legs. Maybe you can grab onto your big toes and use your hands to help draw your collarbones down and the crown of your head down towards the mat. Lift your hips higher. And 5, bring your hands to your hips. In your next inhale, rise all the way back up. To get your feet back together, you can heel toe your feet together, or you can just hop your feet together. Turn towards the front, step forward to Samastitihi, and then Tadasana. We have another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. At the bottom of the fifth breath, hop, step, or float. The forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi, and then to Tadasana. Now, you can take a drink at any time. You can wipe the sweat off your face. Come back to Tadasana. We're going to do a series of Uttita Padangusthasana. So to start, bring the weight onto your left foot. Lift your right foot up, bend your knee, and maybe you can grab onto your big toe. You can go to the wall if you want. And then straighten-ish that leg. I have a couple more weeks before I get my legs straight. But the key here is straightening your spine. And 5, maybe you can then take that right leg out to the side, holding on to the big toe, or if you can't, maybe you just want to grab that right knee and bring that in towards your right side. This is a balance pose too, so you're opening up your hips here, and you're strengthening your ankle, foot, and calf. And exhale, release, step that out. Now my 2 favorites. Okay, come back to Tadasana. Lift your toes, spread them wide, and place them back down. Bring your weight into your left foot. Lift your right foot a 1/2 inch. And from here, bring your right foot out to the front, straight leg. Now your hands can be on your hips, they can be to heart center, they can be out wide, anything to keep you upright. 4 and 5. From here, maybe you can transition directly into tree pose. Bring that right foot into your left thigh or left calf. Just don't put it right on your knee. Your knee is not intended to bend to the side. And every day is different. Maybe you did this in another class
yesterday, and it was easy. Then release, step that out. Notice the difference between your left and right ankles. Back to Tadasana. Lift your toes again. From here, weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee up. Grab onto your left toe with your left fingers and straighten-ish that left leg. This side may be radically different. This side might be cake. You have a dominant side that's stronger and a less dominant side that is more flexible. And then maybe you can bring that leg out to the side, maybe not. But you can always bring that left knee up from the side and just hold on to it. Try to lift it up. With the left leg, you're stretching your psoas and your iliacus, your both hip flexors. And 5, release. Step that out. Back to Tadasana. Bring the weight into your right foot. Lift the left up an inch, half inch, and then bring that right foot forward. Try to step that footprint on the far wall. And then on an exhale, bring that foot down or directly into tree pose. And I'm always amazed how one side can be so different from the other. And 5, release. Step that out. Maybe make some hula hoops with your knees. And then from here, we have another vinyasa, and we go down into Dandasana, seated pose. So from here, back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, forward, up dog. Exhale, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And 5. You can either jump through to seated, or you can come down onto your knees and then walk your feet around. Doesn't matter how you get there. Now, Dandasana is not a resting pose. Bring your feet out about hip width apart, just like Tadasana. Your hands come next to your hips on the mat. And if your arms are short like mine, you can move your hands back an inch or so they can be straightish. Point your toes up, push your heels away, and push down into the mat so that you're taking some weight off of your hips, not all of it, for 5 breaths. And 5, release. From here, just cross your ankles, bring your knees, your heels towards your sit bones, lift your knees up high. If you want to do a bump up, which is a mini vinyasa, you can use blocks, but lift up, then kick your feet out in front. You don't have to do that. The full version of that for the new faces is you lift up, you rotate your body, you kick your feet back to plank, you do a vinyasa, And from down dog, you jump your feet right back to where you are now. So just pretend you all did that. Okay, so now we're going to do Paschimottanasana, A and B. So lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, grab onto your toes with each hand. And then draw your collarbones towards your feet. Straightness your legs. You're stretching your hamstrings and your spine. In 5, release. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, forward fold again. This time, grab the outsides of your feet, or if you can bind across the bottoms of your feet, go ahead. And again, same thing, collarbones towards your feet, the crown of your head towards the far wall. Push your hips away. And release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, bring your hands behind your hips, bend your knees, put your footprints on the mat. On an inhale, tuck your tailbone under and lift your hips up into reverse table for 5 breaths. Draw your heels towards your hands isometrically. Push your knees towards the far wall. That will make your hips float a little bit higher. You're feeling this really nice stretch across the front of your shoulders. And 5, exhale all the way down. Bring both legs out in front again. Push your heels away. Bend your right knee, bringing your right sole of your foot into your upper left thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Turn towards that left foot. And on an exhale, reach for the foot with both hands. Drawing your collarbones towards that foot. Crown of your head towards the far wall. Your gaze is right down at your knee. Notice what's happening in that right hip. That right knee is being drawn down by gravity. And 5, release. Inhale, all the way back up. And exhale, forward fold again, right over, same way. This time, grab the across the bottom of your foot. Maybe you can make a bind with your hands. And again, collarbones towards your foot, crown of your head towards the far wall. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, just lift up your right foot. You can move it back and forth a little bit so that you can feel your hip socket. And then for preparation for Padmasana or Lotus, maybe you can get that right heel into your left hip crease. Now, don't be worried if you can't do that, that's okay. If that knee hurts, don't do this. You can just bring your foot back down on the mat next to that leg. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. And maybe you can grab onto that foot. Maybe you're grabbing onto your knee. One leg of mine, I can do this easily. The other is the real challenge. But appreciate what your body can do and appreciate the limits it gives you. And 5, release. Inhale all the way up. Right leg out to meet the left. Then bend your left knee, left sole to your left inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall and exhale forward fold, reaching for your right toes. And again, collarbones come forward, crown of your head towards the far wall. Maybe you can
draw that right hip back a little bit. To intensify this, stretch out your hamstring just a little bit more. Most Americans seem to have tight hamstrings. In 5, release. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold again. Maybe make a bind across the bottom. Notice how different this asymmetric pose is. You may be able to come considerably farther when you're only dealing with one side. That's why we do it. Or in 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, raise that left foot up, bring it back and forth. And then maybe on this side, you can bring that heel to your hip crease. Maybe not. Maybe you want to put a block under that knee. I don't know. Only you know what's going on inside your body. But from here, inhale tall and exhale forward fold any bit that you can. But if it hurts that knee, don't do it. Bail out right now. And 5, release. Inhale, all the way back up. Release that left leg out to meet the right. Maybe rotate your feet a little bit, left to right. That'll rotate your femurs in your hip sockets, giving some relief there. Cross your ankles, bring your heels up close to your sit bones. You can do another bump if you wish. You don't have to. Inhale, bump up. And then kick your feet forward. Okay, so we're to Marichi. So bend your right knee. Bring your right heel up towards your right sit bone. First Marichi is a forward fold. You're trying to get your chest in front of your right shin. Sounds pretty absurd. And after 1.5 years of practice, 2 years of practice, it gets better. Inhale tall. And exhale, forward fold. Maybe you can reach that left foot with your left hand. Maybe that right shoulder can come around in front of that right shin. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Keep your right foot where it is. Bend your left knee. And then bring that left heel up right on your right sit bone and return your right heel down. This makes this a little bit more asymmetric. Inhale tall and then fold forward again. Maybe this time that right armpit can get in front of that shin, maybe not. You can continue to come forward, or maybe that left arm can come around behind you and make a bind with that right arm. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Straighten out that left leg all the way in front of the mat. And this time, with that right knee still high, grab onto that with your left hand. Bring your right arm behind you as a kickstand. Lengthen your spine. Reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And as you exhale, twist to the right. Maybe that left arm can come over the front of that thigh. You don't get extra artistic points for that. And 5, release. Come back to center. Get your legs the way they were before. Bend that left knee. Bring the left heel to your right sit bone. Replace the right foot. Inhale tall. Right arm as a kickstand. And exhale, twist to the right. And some of you may be able to get your left arm around that right knee and make a bind all the way behind your back. If Asima was here, she can do that. And exhale, release. Come back to center, push your heels away, and then bend your left knee. Bring your left heel up towards your left sit bone. Inhale your spine tall. And exhale, forward fold. Reaching the right arm for that right foot. Maybe that left shoulder gets in front of the left knee or left shin. And 5, release. Sit back up. Bring that right heel to your left sit bone and replace your left heel down. From here, straighten your spine and exhale, forward fold again. And maybe you can reach around behind and make a bind. Maybe not. And 5, release. Inhale, come up. Let that right leg come out again. Grab your left knee with your right hand. Left hand is a kickstand. Lengthen your spine. That's the key to any twist. Inhale tall, exhale, twist to the right, or to the left. And 5, release. Turn back to center. Bring that right heel into your right sit bone. Left heel right in front. Right arm on right hand on the left knee. Inhale tall and twist again to the left. Maybe that right arm to come all the way in front of your left knee, left thigh. And 5, release. Come back to center. Straighten out your legs. Bring your hands next to your hips. Rotate your feet again. And then bring your soles of your feet together. Coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. From here, you want your heels close to your groin, but you don't have to be super tight. What you want is a good stretch of your groins. So grab onto your feet, inhale tall, and then exhale, forward fold. Again, drawing your collarbones towards the front of the mat and the crown of your head towards the far wall. Your goal is not to get your chin to your feet. You're keeping a straight back. And 5, release. Inhale back up. This time, move your feet forward however much you'd like. Maybe make a square, doesn't matter. But again, this is a groin stretch and a back stretch. So inhale tall, and then exhale forward fold. And if you want to be a little prettier, you can always bring your forearms underneath your ankles. Although our photographer from Yoga Journal is failed to make it today. So you're not going to make it there. So it doesn't matter. Again, your spine lengthening. is the key here. Crown of your head towards the far wall. Collarbones towards the front of the mat. Maybe moon the person behind you. See if you can come forward any bit more. And then release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And give one more option for another bump. So lift your knees really high. Inhale, lift, bump. And now we come to your version of lotus pose. And your version can be Sukhasana. It can be half a Sukhasana. It really depends on your body. Everybody here has a different history. Everybody has different hip structures. But so your legs can start crossed. If you want to try a half lotus, you can bring a heel. I'll do it on this side this week. You can bring a heel to your hip crease, opposite hip crease, and then just bring your other heel underneath the other knee. This is half lotus, and this is great. This is a little more intense on your left hip, or whichever foot is higher, and that's great. Now, if you have warmed up sufficiently, and if your hips are willing and this is within your practice, maybe you can lift your other knee or other heel up towards the other hip crease. And if you were to come up here and look, I am off my hip crease. So, this just looks cute. But from here, we're going to do a couple things. First, bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. And then bring your arms behind your back. If you can make a mudra, or if you want to make a mudra behind your back, go ahead. If you just want to grab opposite wrists or opposite elbows, or even opposite hands, that really does not matter. But lift your spine tall and close your eyes. And turn inside your body. And then for the next 10 breaths, begin to fold forward, taking this really slowly, but observe your body, where the tension is greatest, and notice the micro changes in your body as you fold forward. How one muscle releases and another muscle picks up. You will learn a lot. And it doesn't matter how far you come. Nine. 10. On your next few breaths, rise back up. And bring the backs of your hands to your knees. You can make a mudra here if you wish, thumb to forefinger, whatever feels good to you. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, straighten your spine. Engage your core. And then, if you wish, you can always bow your head in gratitude for your body and all the work it has done for you today and for the prior decades. We'll be here for 10 breaths. Observe your body as it begins to relax. But if your pose becomes intolerable, you can always move. Begin to deepen your breath. Open your eyes. Now, as you help your feet come untangled, observe how your body feels instantly as the blood flow comes back. Notice the warmth in your legs or your feet, or the lack of it. Bring your feet out towards the front of the mat, stretch your legs long, pushing your heels away. Your hands come behind your hips, maybe rotate your feet again. Maybe you want to do some windshield wipers. And when you're ready, just come down onto your elbows and all the way down onto your back. Bring your arms up towards the ceiling and then gently let them flow down towards the wall beyond your head and stretch from your heels to your palms and notice which muscles are stretching here. And then stretch from your fingers and your toes as far apart as you can. And note the different muscles here. And then bring your arms back by your side or out from your side, anywhere that will feel comfortable in Shavasana. Move your legs apart a comfortable distance. Rock your pelvis left to right to find the perfect settling point. Stretch your neck long. Lift your head an inch, tuck your chin, and gently lower your head. Help give your neck a little bit of traction. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose, and take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers, into your toes, to your wrists, into your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones, drawing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Push your hips away and rock all the way from shoulder and hip on one side to shoulder and hip on the other. Or maybe make some circles on the ceiling with your knees, massaging your back, your spine that has done so much work today. And then the next time you're over towards your right side, pause there for just a moment in fetal pose and do a quick body scan. And note whether there's any residual stress or tension that you may need to address later today or later this week. And when you're ready, use the strength in your left hand to push the floor away. Rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me today. And for the past 100 weeks, because I started teaching Ashtanga just about 100 weeks ago. This is the 97th class. So anyway, thank you. Take the compassion and the empathy that you practice every time you step on your mat with you wherever you go, and share it with your family, your friends, and each person you might meet. Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is Clint, and this has been Yin Yoga. Thanks.